Actually, don't sit down. I want to start with something. Before we get going here, I just need like a boxing tip. Like, I don't intend to get into a lot of fights. I don't get in a lot of fights in my everyday life
Just
with the
in
Wall
case.
Street Journal. But just in case. I know you've been in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, arguably the greatest boxer of all time. So, put my hands.
So I gotta say first, you should be asking my brother this question.
Okay.
He's undefeated, and I am the opposite.
Okay, but you did go 8 rounds with Floyd, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta take my watch off for this one. So
no, you don't have to take the watch off. What are we doing here?
Put your hand like this.
Which one?
This one.
All right.
So I'm a little bit of an unorthodox fighter, and I fight with my hands down.
I hear that. Okay.
And my jab is not your typical jab from up here.
Okay.
I do like a snappy jab, kind of like a backhand.
Jeez.
Like it's like a
do you know
backhand
about my
whip.
healthcare plan? Take it easy. All right.
No, it's all good. Now you got to try though, obviously.
All right.
So
like
the jab. It's like imagine like a backhand as a jab.
Okay.
A little more.
A little more like this?
Yeah, a little.
Oh, back of the hand.
You know what? Let's do the panel.
Okay, all right. Good enough. Okay. Stick to writing columns is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. I saw the tenacity in your eyes.
All right, listen. If I ever win a fight, you get 10%. How's that sound?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I want to get to the boxing stuff, but this is the Wall Street Journal, Logan, so we probably should start with some business.
Cool.
You've been at this. I don't know how old you feel, but you've been at this for a long time now. I was looking at the record. It's almost 10 years for you in the business of social media.
Yeah.
You're only 27.
Yeah.
But do you kind of feel like, you've been around for a while in the business? Yeah.
I do. I realized when young creators would start coming up to me that I'm now the vet.
Okay.
And I had that moment with the creators that inspired me.
Okay.
And I kind of look around at the landscape, and I do have a pretty keen understanding of social, and that only comes with time. So I do have to admit, I'm knowledgeable in the space because of my experience. Like I am a vet.
Social media feels like it should be measured in dog years. I mean, it feels like 10 years should be 80 years or something like that. I mean,
well, because it's always changing.
Yeah.
There's always a new platform, and each platform has a different language. Just like code on a website, HTML5, DOS, whatever it is, it's a language, and social's the same. I just happen to get good at speaking the different languages native to each platform.
Now, if you could go back and visit Logan Paul circa 2012, 2013, we're talking about still at Ohio University guy, still starting out with Vine, and you could give yourself a couple of pieces of advice for the next decade, what would you say to that guy?
I would have told him to go for it. It's the one thing I didn't think I did until I had a case study that proved to be working. When I dropped out of college, I finished my first year with a 4.0. It was a hard decision because I am a bit of an academic, if you will.
What were you headed toward? Like, had none of this happened, what career do you think you would have been?
I was going to be an industrial and systems engineer.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
They focus on efficiency in factories.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it was creative, though. My goal at that point in time was to invent a product that would revolutionize the world. And it turns out media allows me to exercise that creative part of my brain, and it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, there was no blueprint for this. There was no book you could check out of Amazon. There was no how to be a social media star. It meant successes. It meant mistakes. You've had some high-profile mistakes, too. Yeah. What did you learn along the way? What do you think were the most critical lessons?
Yeah, you mentioned blueprint. I think anyone paving the way, kind of making their own blueprint, understands the difficulties of what goes into it, because there's no path to follow. You're paving the path, but it also leads to sometimes the most rewarding results. Yeah. I've had a career full of ups and downs, successes and failures, but I take everything that I do and I apply it to the next thing that I do, the learnings and the understandings, and just like I've gotten good at acknowledging and accepting my truth and my reality, and then using it to move forward. And at this point, I've done a lot. I joke with my friends, like I know too much. I know too much, and like I feel like I can use what I've learned to continue, creating that blueprint.
The flip side of all this, the flip side of internet fame, or any kind of fame really, is that there's going to be a certain number of people who are going to love you. And there's always going to be a certain number of people who dislike you, maybe even hate you. And that's the way it works. And anger is a very potent thing on the internet.
Sure.
Does hate roll off of you at this point, or does it stick to you and bother you sometimes?
No, hate rolls off of me. I have empathy for anyone who has legitimate hatred in their heart. Feels burdening to me. I simply don't have time to focus negative energy anywhere. And I've barreled through it all, and I've learned that like truly, if you don't give up, you're gonna be a tough person to stop. And social media is full of, haters, naysayers, doubters. And to me, it's all just noise, because it really is. It's a big world, and everyone has an opinion. But if you know who you are and you know what you're up to and how you're going to get there, none of the other stuff matters.
I mean, a word that gets brought up all the time to the point that it's almost meaningless is authenticity. And you once said, like, this brand I've built, you either love me or hate me for exactly who I am. There's no smoke, no mirrors. Can you judge when you're looking at other people who are coming up when someone's being genuinely authentic versus like sort of fake authentic?
Sure, of course. Now, and not only just me, I think the internet and people in general are becoming more and more aware of who is real. I truly do think authenticity will be the key for creators, celebrities, influencers in this next decade, because everything we see has a level of superficiality to it, or like fickleness, or you don't know if it's real or fake. Even just like more macro, like deep fakes now. Like in the next 10 years or so, you're not going to know who's saying what, because you're able to recreate someone's face and have them speak as if they're them.
But there are probably, on the flip side of that, there are probably people who argue, like, well, what gives me the need for like paying influencers who can just create them? Do you think there'll always be a fundamental need for actual humans to do this stuff?
I think I don't know. I don't like to speak in absolutes, but so I wouldn't say always. But my knee-jerk reaction would be yes. I think like genuine, authentic human connection, likability, the ability to navigate and garner attention, comes with a human, a Homo sapiens sapien. So, yeah.
You have a famous younger brother.
He is famous.
I don't know if you know that. You mentioned him at the top. I believe you live across the street from each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Are you competitive with each other, or is this a real partnership?
No, not anymore. There was a time. This is embarrassing to say, but my most viewed YouTube video is a diss track against my brother. So yeah, there was a time where we were definitely enemies. And then we realized, this is a weird journey. Personally, I have one brother whom I love dearly, and he's always going to have my back no matter what. And in this interesting, eccentric, difficult to navigate life that we happened to end up in, there's not another person I can turn to that truly understands what's happening and why. We grew up in Ohio together in the woods, like locked out of the house for 13 hours a day because our dad made us, play outside and do manual labor. And then all of a sudden, I'm fighting Floyd Mayweather and Jake is one of the highest paid athletes in the world. How does that happen?
It's surreal. I mean, I don't know the last time you guys got in a car together just alone and drove somewhere, but what is that conversation like, just the two of you?
They're the best conversations I have in my life, because we spend time apart from each other, and he has just as much passion for life and fervor as I do, and so we learn, we collect, absorb knowledge, learnings, meet people, and then we exchange information, and it's sort of like a mastermind. When I'm just hanging out with my brother, and he'll fool you online, but I think eventually it'll be kind of understood, like Jake's a genius. Like, the kid's incredibly smart. And so I get to see that side of him, which is always fascinating.
Now, I want to ask like an old man question about civility. I'm going to sound old for a second, but it seems like the thing that sticks the most nowadays on social media is confrontation, anger, abrasiveness, hate. is there room for love? Is there room for being somebody famous on the internet if you're about positivity and using your forces for good? I mean, it's clear there's been a maturation in your process that you're a different guy than you were 5-10 years ago, for sure.
Yeah, it's a really great question. So my answer would, and I'm a bit of an idealist, would be yes.
Yeah.
I hope so too. Unfortunately, I think most of our species loves the negativity, the drama. It's just like that's kind of where we lean.
Yeah.
For what reason, I don't know. And I've gotten the opportunity to position some really positive messaging behind some of my content because of preconceived notions about who I was,
Right.
or who I am.
Right.
Which is interesting. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Spreading love, spreading positivity, like in general, like no one wants to see that shit. You gotta navigate. It's unfortunate and it's true, and that's why the people who are good at it are good at it and are making the waves that they are, because when you can figure out how to spread positive messaging and really get people to feel and care, which is kind of the staple of what I do. My only hope with my content is I just want to make people care. Make people feel.
There's been a lot of conversation on all social media platforms about the idea of content moderation and like whether or not things should be more verified or shut down if they get too crazy. What's your take on whether or not there should be somebody under the hood making sure that things remain a little bit more civil?
Online, I don't know. I think it's important. I also think free speech is important. Obviously.
What do you think of Musk's bid for Twitter?
Oh man, I think it's great just because I believe in Elon, and I believe he'll do good things for the platform. But there's the spread of disinformation is incredibly dangerous, and it needs to be moderated. What that looks like, I don't know. I'm not Elon Musk, but I'm sure he'll put some boundaries in play to protect like the sanctity of free speech, but at the same time not allow radical, dangerous ideas to spread. I'd hope.
If he called you up and said, what would be your recommend for something like Twitter?
I'd say, why are you calling me, Elon? I don't know, dude.
Okay, so we talked about this a little bit at the top, but you're also going to market with products of your own. Prime Hydration, which is
Prime Hydration.
It's there you got it right there.
Yep.
Okay, this is with your old boxing buddy KSI.
Yeah.
Now I think of sports drinks as a pretty crowded marketplace, but what's going to make this one work? What makes it stand out?
What sports drinks do you think of when you think of the crowded market?
Well, I think of what's the one from the University of Florida? Gatorade. I think of the Body Armor, vitamin water, Red Bull. Is that a hydration? No, that's not a hydration drink.
So there's three,
Yeah.
right? And vitamin water, I wouldn't even say is a sports drink. It's more of hydration, which is what we are. We're hydration and lifestyle.
Got it.
And if you can break in, which we did, the market actually isn't that crowded. We actually just passed Powerade in sales at Target. We're the fastest growing hydration drink in America, and we're focused on hydration and lifestyle. Our drinks have less than 25 calories, 2 grams of sugar, 10% coconut water, 850 milligrams.
Can I pour it over a coach when I win a championship?
Yeah, and they won't get sticky. Like, trust me, your coach you got spilled Gatorade on is going to be sticky. Now we're Prime. So this product started out of a belief that there was a hole in the market that hadn't been filled yet.
Yeah.
And it's based on the numbers, it turns out we were right. And it has an incredible story behind it. You mentioned it. I fought, my first boxing match ever was with a fellow YouTuber by the name of KSI. He's UK's biggest internet star and arguably UK's biggest star. It was a tie. We had a rematch, sold out the Staples Center in LA, and he beat me. I lost by 1 point. I'll never forgive Jack Reese for taking away those 2 points, but it's fine. Because it allowed us to come together then afterwards, set aside our differences, and we had about 2 years of realizing that me and KSI, we were a lot more alike than we were different.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a better arc than two people who literally hated each other, beat the snot out of each other, and then came together to start a global beverage brand. That's cool to me, and it shows there's like it feels like there's an inherent sense of like hope in building. You know, like That's what I'm saying. I don't have room in my heart for hatred.
Yeah.
Like at one point, JJ and I were convinced that we hated each other. We were able to set it aside and build something really meaningful and important. And I think it's going to be like a mainstay in hydration and beverage.
You must get pitched things all the time. What's the worst idea you've ever been pitched as a product?
Oh my God. You know, it's tough. I'm not super nice with pitches. Like it's tough because, dude, I hear them all the time. Yo, let me pitch you my NFT. I go, stop. I don't care. I'm sorry, please. I don't want to hear about your donkey NFTs. Leave me alone.
But you are getting into this business. I mean, you are into this thing that's recently launched called 99 Originals, which people on your team call your magnum opus. And this is, not just about you. It's building what I learned is this decentralized autonomous organization, or DAO.
Yeah.
Sort of this online community. But these are wild times for collectibles, NFTs right now. You've probably seen the market. I don't know
I've seen the market.
I don't know if you look at your portfolio, but it's wild out there, but I imagine you're more optimistic than that.
I am optimistic. So I'm optimistic in my project, Originals. I launched at absolutely the worst time any human could launch an NFT project. But I believed in the project enough because, again, the story behind it, the significance, and I think the depth and what it represents in crypto, blockchain, art, technology, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, which you meant or mentioned. I just really believe in my product, as I do with all my products.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why am I touching it? I'm not going to waste my time on something that I don't believe in. And so, Originals was this Polaroid NFT project. I traveled the world for 99 days. I took 4,120 Polaroids, traveled 85,000 miles, and I selected 99 finals to mint and turn into NFTs. Sell them one by one over a period of 99 days. The buyer of the NFT gets the physical one-of-one
You get the
Polaroid.
tactile Polaroid, right?
Exactly. And then what we're doing is building this decentralized autonomous organization. So the holders of the Polaroid get to join this group that have access to a community treasury that they can collectively decide what to do with. I think DAOs are the future. I think the groups of people without one particular leader and access to funds that people have a collective decision-making ability to do creative things with is the future. It makes sense to me.
And by this you mean it's not just going into Logan Paul Inc. It's going into this, 50% of it is going into a shared resource among the people who are kind of become shareholders of this.
Essentially, it's almost like a modern day, like very simple version of a fund.
Right.
You know, like right now we have 107 ETH in the treasury, which, right now is like almost 250,000, and we're 10 days in.
And in theory, that could be invested into other projects and built from there.
Whatever the community wants to do, we'll vote on it. But yeah, man, fund independent artists or movies, sponsor events, donate to philanthropy, honestly anything.
I want to get to some questions, but I just have a couple quick questions about fighting.
Sure.
I paid for the Mayweather fight. I was super ready to hate it, feel ripped off, and I was like, you know what? This is really entertaining. This is really, this is kind of what I wanted, what I felt I paid for. I feel like with boxing, you managed to get into the one business that was crazier than the business you were already in, right? It's like, but it's clear that you and Jake have found this avenue here, finding events that people are interested in seeing. Did boxing feel like a business that was ripe for disruption?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. I swear to God, it's a cheat code. When you were a kid, you were on the playground, and a fight breaks out. Where does the attention go? Everyone goes to the fight.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in real life. Again, we're pretty easy to understand species, and it's the same thing in real life. If you have enough of a draw, and you are willing to get in that ring or that octagon, and quite literally risk your life for entertainment, put the work behind it, and you got a formula for success there.
I mean, it's amazing to see the boxing community where we're like, what the heck are these guys doing? And now they're like, they want to come in, they want to bring their fighters to you.
Absurd. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's all happened.
Yeah, Jake just put on the biggest female fight in existence.
Right.
Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. Sold out Madison Square Garden. Had these women paid more than they ever had in their entire life for any. And this is like, at first it was a young YouTuber. It was kind of like a gimmick. And now the kid's undefeated. He's one of the biggest promoters in boxing.
Right.
And it's revitalizing a sport that deserves a lot of attention.
Let's get to some questions in the audience here. I'm sure there are some. We have right in the front Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Logan.
Howdy.
I have a two-part question. So first one is, I mean, you did Pokemon cards, then the Prime, the 99 originals. So like, obviously you're a great influencer and creator, but how do you come up with these creative ideas for like entrepreneurial stuff to really leverage your personal brand?
That's a great question. The honest answer is I don't know. I have this innate ability to dive to the deepest parts of my brain, and if there's something in there that I like, I'll take it, bring it back, and refine it. So I'm a creative at heart. I think I was blessed with like the ability to let my brain run, and I've gotten good at just refining and having a keen understanding of what people are going to care about. And mind you, dude, I'm not always right. In fact, I'm still wrong often, but I'm also still very young. And every time I'm wrong, you know, that's a takeaway. That's a blessing for me.
Is there something just a little bit different than, say, like if you were just going out and selling merchandise, hats and shirts and whatever, than selling investment properties, which effectively was what NFT is. And so people can go in there and they could make a killing, or maybe they could lose money on it. That's a different dynamic than just selling plain merch. And how does that change your thinking?
It's what I mentioned at the beginning. It's a language, and you have to speak it according to the platform that you're navigating on. You know, merch currently now for influencers is kind of overdone.
Yeah.
And so, do we still want to put our energy into that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought I could make a significant NFT project with originals. Turns out, thus far, I'm right. Mm-hmm. And I believe in the product.
Yeah.
And I'll run into the ground if so.
Let's go. We got another question. There's in the back there.
Could I finish my second part question?
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. We just want to get one question from each person, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I love you.
Logan, nice meeting you, man. Thanks for coming out. My question is, you're definitely super influential and a leader in the space for YouTube and social media. What would you recommend to someone who's trying to break into this space, which feels so late into the game at this point?
Yeah, dude, great question. Because you're right, it is so hard, and it's so saturated. I had the blessing of starting video when I was 8 years old, before a YouTuber was even a thing. Sure. So when influencers became popular, I had been doing the thing that they had been doing for years, and I kind of found a way. And I feel empathy for creators now who are trying to break into the space. I don't know if you all know, but the majority of Gen Z took a survey, and like, these kids just want to be influencers. They want to be YouTubers. And I'm like, no, please. Like, please be careful.
We need some doctors.
Yeah, please, we need doctors. Be a doctor. You have to have something special about you, is the answer. I think it has to be innate. I think, like we mentioned earlier, like an authentic likability, and you're filling a hole that no one's really doing just yet. Every new creator I see that makes it, I go, that makes sense. Or you know, musician, actor, they fit. And sometimes you got to break your way in, you know? It'll take a decade of work before you fit, but you put in the work, and like, I don't see how you can't make it happen.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
This time just blew right by, and we have time for one last question. And I'm going to take it, Logan, because I'm going to ask my stock question at the end of interviews with Logan Paul, which is, you can look right down the barrel of that camera. Are you going to be running for president in 8 years? You put it out there, the possibility you'll be 35 in about 7 years, or 8 years rather. That would put you at 2032. Are you going to run for president, Logan Paul?
I, Logan Paul, will be running for president in 2032.
We can book that?
Yeah, sure.
And just, you know, John F. Kennedy made Bobby his attorney general. Where's Jake going to go in the cabinet?
Jake is the Secretary of Defense.
Okay. Logan Paul, everybody, thank you very much.